don't believe in telling everybody business without telling my own. Why are you being such horrible vibes right now? I'm not surprised that you guys aren't drinking tonight because y'all were shit-faced last night. Are white women experiencing such levels of weirdo behavior? Would you go on a girls trip halfway across the world with a bunch of strangers you did not know? Well, I recently did, and one thing that I learned from that trip is that women are weird. But to be honest, that's to be expected. If you're familiar with my content here on YouTube, you've probably already noticed I tend to put women on a pedestal, and which despite everything I'm about to say, I'm still going to continue to do that because women are just black women. Chef's kiss, unlimited likes. But because I so heavily associate like weirdo behavior and loser behavior with like men, I'm always genuinely shocked when women move crazy with me in that way. So let's talk about it. Okay, I don't know what skincare product I used today that's making my primer pill, but okay, so for context, I just got back from a trip to Bali, Indonesia. I went with a travel group. First, let me say this is nothing against the travel group. I think they did an amazing job curating the event. If you are not as anal as I am about like organization and scheduling, you would probably think this trip was a 10 out of 10. For me, I'd give it like an 8 out of 10, maybe like an 8.5 out of 10 as far as the travel group goes, just because they kept changing the time on certain things. But it's Lux Tribe's travel group. If you guys are interested, they do good stuff. And I already put part 1 up, so some of what I'm going to talk about is already in that vlog if you want to see it play out, but most of it is in part 2, which is coming out shortly. Sorry, I had to turn the fan on. It's kind of hot. So I didn't go completely alone. I went with Dami, but out of 15 girls, we only knew each other. Now, 15 girls can't fit in one villa, so there were 3 different villas. 2 of them were side by side, and they were very far from the 3rd villa. Me and Dami were in the 3rd villa, so we were already kind of in an outlier situation. And then there were 4 other girls in our villa. Those 4 girls all knew each other. So those 4 girls knew each other and me and Dami knew each other. That was the 6 of us there. Everything that I'm about to say does not include those 4 girls. They were absolutely amazing. We connected on such a level. I love them girls down, okay? But it's important to note that we knew each other and we were in the outlier villa. Also, some important context, the travel group had set up a WhatsApp group chat. Now, I don't use WhatsApp. You guys have heard me talk about how much I hate Mark Zuckerberg and do not like championing his products. WhatsApp is included, okay? I don't use WhatsApp for anything. But the woman who was like planning it said, you know, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. If anything of importance is said or done in the group chat, I'll make sure you know. They were in the travel group. Apparently a lot was going on in the travel group. So Dami was in the group and she wasn't giving me any updates on anything really. And then the travel planner wasn't giving me any updates on anything really. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, okay, nothing exciting is happening. All good. So then like the week of the trip comes, Dami sends me some updates. She's like, hey, people want to do this, this, and that. And I'm not going to lie, it was overwhelming. On top of all of the events that the travel group had planned, they were planning additional events. And it just seemed like a lot. Their itinerary was so jam-packed. There was no time to rest. I said, Dami, I don't think I'm going to commit to any of these things. Cool. No problem. I speak to the travel planner. She's like, there's nothing that's set in stone. There's nothing to commit to. She specifically says, when you get there, they're going to ask you what you want to do in your downtime. And that's when you'll set up like any extracurricular events. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. I don't have to commit to anything right now. What I didn't realize at the time was that the travel planner was not keeping up with the WhatsApp group. And in her defense, everyone in my villa said that they also had a hard time keeping up with the WhatsApp group because those girls were messaging like hundreds of messages a day. Like it was impossible to keep up. And then the travel planner told Dami that she has never had a group of girls that have used the WhatsApp group so much before the trip. Which I thought was actually quite hilarious, but whatever. So I was coming in with a lack of knowledge. Okay, cool. I'm about to see how good this foundation is. Anyway, so we get there. Everything is going cool. Lots of little stuff happened that I don't care too much to get into because it's not important. But here's the big thing. On night 2, I believe, they made a plan to go to this beach club, Finn's Beach Club in Bali. Now, Finn's is a beach club that offers table reservations, or you can do like walk up, you can do the swim up bar. There's a lot of different options for the club. Now, apparently one of the girls had made a reservation and it required like a deposit. And so everybody that wanted to go had sent like a portion of their deposit, Dami included. The day of the beach club comes, I didn't want to go. I genuinely didn't want to go. But then the villa that I was in, everybody was going. And they were like, no, you have to come. It'll be so fun. Like, blah, blah, blah. Peer pressure. And you can see it play out real time in the vlog. Peer pressure won. I decided to go. Cool. So Dami had dropped her phone in the pool like the first day we were out there. So she didn't have a phone. So we were using one of the tour guide's phones. And she asked, she was like, hey, can you just let them know in the group chat that me and Ape are gonna go? Cool. They put it in the group chat. Apparently, the girl who made the reservation loses her marbles. I'm not in the group chat, so I can only tell you what everyone else told me from the messages. She's like, well, she didn't pay her deposit. Mind you, it's a $15 deposit. Keep that in mind. It's a $15 USD deposit. She didn't pay me a deposit, so she won't be sitting at my table. That's what she said. That comment alone is already very spicy. And it's also just like, for me, I feel like the better response is, oh, Appe's not in the group chat, so maybe she didn't know about this event. Let me let her know that there was a $15 deposit that everybody paid so that she can pay it when she gets it. Simple. But doing all that was crazy in the group chat. But you know what? I'm used to internet gangsters. Everybody agreed that she sounded crazy, so I moved on. A few minutes after she sends that though, somebody messages one of the girls in my villa and is like, oh, she's like going off like in the villa about that message. So she's ranting and raving. Girls be mumbling and cackling about the queen while the queen be at the stew. This is crazy.
Imagine someone sitting home mumbling and cackling instead of paying their mother bills.
She is going off like, oh my gosh, why would she think she could come? That's so inconsiderate. First of all, I didn't know that you were the bodyguard, the bouncer at the beach club, that you made the final call on who could go and who not could go. And so I said to Dami, and I had said this to Dami even before those messages came through, because I knew that they had reserved a table. I was like, oh, well, if they can't change the reservation to add one more person, I said to Dami, me and you could just sit somewhere else, right? Like, that's cool. She was like, yeah, that's cool. No problem. I had no issue not sitting with them. It's a club. We're going to be dancing and turning up. Anyway, mine was a beach club. We're going to be in the pool. We're going to be dancing. Like, come on. I didn't realize yet just how boring those girls were. They were not dancing. They weren't in the pool. They didn't do anything that required them to go 1.5 hours out to a beach club because they didn't do nothing. Like, if you watch my vlog, you'll see at one point we're dancing on stage. The only people dancing are the people in my villa. Me, Dami, and the 4 other girls. We're the only ones dancing. We're the only ones taking shots. We're the only ones we're the only ones that got in the pool. We're the only ones enjoying the beach club. So I'm like, it's no way she did all this ranting and raving behind an event that she wasn't going to even enjoy for herself, that nobody enjoyed. Not to be funny, and I'm saying this as objectively as humanly possible, I'm always the life of the party. I'm saying that with as much humility as I possibly can say. You can ask anybody who knows me, anybody who has ever spent any amount of time with me. There are 2 words they will never use to describe me: boring or fake. It's just not going to be in their vocabulary. They could call me a whole bunch of other stuff, but boring and fake, you'll never hear them say that. Even the best liar couldn't pull that off. Not against me, okay? So I'm just like, I'm literally the one turning it up in here. You put all this effort into putting the deposit, planning this outing, and you mad at one of the few people that actually enjoyed it. I don't understand. I also thought it was interesting how the whole time we were there, I mean, I said hi to her when we came in, made lots of eye contact. She even sat way too close to me, in my opinion. She never said anything to me, which to me was so jarring because everyone else saw her say that publicly. And throughout the trip, people like were pulling me aside to be like, yeah, that message was so crazy. So like everyone here knows that she was wildin', and maybe she felt like no one said anything to me and that she didn't need to address it. But that to me was just like so weird. And also, like, on another level, the girl was Nigerian. Like, so this was a trip with just a bunch of Black women. Not everybody was Nigerian, obviously, but she was Nigerian. And for me, I know obviously not all Nigerians believe in solidarity, but I'm just like, we're 2 Nigerian women on a trip with a bunch of strangers and we can't find any kind of community with one another. Like, that to me was just extra jarring. Again, I put women on such a high pedestal that I expect all women to move the way I would move, and clearly that's just not the case for everybody. It is what it is. But yeah, and throughout the trip, she never brought that up to me. She never apologized for her weirdness. But she, in fact, got weirder. So now the next night comes, there is a pajama party, right? Now the pajama party is planned by the travel group. And it just makes sense. Is it even a girls trip if you guys do not have a pajama party, slumber party? So again, there's 3 villas. Originally, the pajama party was supposed to be at our villa, which made sense because honestly, it should have been at our villa because we were the most lit. We would have been the best hosts, but that's neither here nor there at this point. It was raining that night and our outdoor area did not have like a covering overhead. So they had to switch it to a villa that did have a covering overhead because they also had live performances, which were so dope. This is going to be in the upcoming vlog, and I put it at the end of the vlog that's out, but the full thing will be in the upcoming vlog. It was so dope. There was music, there were dancers. The dancers were so gorgeous, so beautiful, and it was catered and we had a good time as far as the performances and the food goes. Cool. It's like, I want to say like 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. All of the girls just start leaving. Mind you, it's in one of the villas that's next door to each other. So everyone except for me and the 5 other girls in my villa can walk to their rooms. We are like 30 minutes away. Everyone just starts leaving. Some of them don't even say bye when they're leaving. Like, I love an Irish goodbye as much as the next person. Truly, I do. But for the life of me, I cannot understand what is the point of going on a girls trip with a bunch of strangers if you have no intention on getting to know the strangers, to talk to the strangers, to have a good time with the strangers. Like I said, my villa was lit. I cannot stress this enough. We had bottles at our villa. So I was like, we should bring the bottles there. So we like all had brought the bottles that we brought to share with everybody else. Like, we weren't trying to be stingy. We were trying to all just have a good time, make sure the vibes were nice. Wooty wooty woo. I don't know what color I want to use. Hold on, let me figure out this eye look. I want to just go brown. I'm going brown on brown on brown. Where is my Juvia's Place palette? Right here. Brown on brown on brown. Anyway, now the girl that turned up last time, she apparently had a bottle she had been talking about. She wanted to drink it, but she hadn't had any opportunities to drink it or something. I don't understand how you could be on a girls trip and think you have no opportunities to drink. I have to beg your pardon. I couldn't even go on a family vacation and say there were no opportunities to drink, let alone a girls trip to Bali. A tropical location? Don't piss me off. Anyway, so she brought her bottle out. She had like, I actually don't even remember. It was tequila. Maybe it was Casamigos, I think. Whatever. Cool. She brought her bottle out. If you know me, I love hosting. I bartended all through high school. I bartended all through college. So I love mixing drinks. I love making drinks that I think people will enjoy specifically. So I'm making drinks for people. I'm pretty much acting like I live there. Like, I'm hosting. It's crazy. And the rest of my villa is doing the same. We're trying to have a good time. But around 8:30, 9 o'clock, we start to notice that people are leaving. And not everybody's saying bye. Don't get me wrong. There were 3 ladies in particular who were on the older side. One of them said bye. But she also said, Auntie O, I gotta go to sleep. Which I totally get, but everybody else was like young. Everybody was like late 20s, early 30s. So I'm just like, what's tea here right now? Like, why are y'all just dipping off like this? So even the girl who they were at their villa, they just left and went to their rooms and left us there. I later found out one of the girls from my villa was like, she was pouring some of the Casamigos and she didn't think that the girl liked that. So she took her bottle and she left. But I'm just like, that to me is so, like, why would you go on a girls trip to behave that way? Also, that's such bad hosting. Like, and I don't care if you're not a good host or not. I don't think there's any instance in which someone comes to your home, your accommodations where you're staying, and it's normal to just like leave them in the living room while you go to your room. Like, that's very, very weird. Like, if someone came to your college dorm, you wouldn't do something like that. If someone came to the house you lived in with your family, you wouldn't do them like that. If someone came to your home where you live right now, you wouldn't do them like that. So why would you do that on vacation? It was just a very weird experience. And I don't know, like I said, I really have had to confront the fact that I be putting women too much on a pedestal in cases like this, because girl, why are you being such horrible vibes right now? Like, are we not at a party? Anyway, keep in mind, we were all drinking. We brought the drinks. We were having a good time. This is going to be important later on in the trip. Okay. The next day, or maybe 2 days later, it's hard to keep track of time when you're on vacation. vacation. But you'll see everything play out in part 2 of the vlog. The next day, the same girl, the wildin' in the group chat girl, the don't want to share her Casamigos girl, she organizes a trip to this Afrobeats club. Cool. I feel like club is a stretch. I think it's called a lounge. I think I just said club. Lounge is probably a bit more accurate for the vibes there. So she plans this event to this Afrobeats lounge. It's just, you know, everybody come whoopty whoopty whoop. So we go. So, oh, also in my villa, me and Dami, obviously Nigerian. 2 of the girls were also Nigerian. So, you know, and then like the other girl did Zumba. So, you know, they love that type of music in Zumba classes. So we all like that kind of music essentially. So we decide we're gonna go. Cool. No problemo. Hold on. I have no idea how I want to finish this look. All I've got is the base. I want to do a one like sheet of brown look, but now I'm kind of just like, I think I want to do something more devious than that. Do I have a brown that I want to use? I'd probably be Real One would probably do it for me. Do I want to do it? Let me figure that out before I move on. Okay, so at this point in the trip, I can admit your girl had been drinking. Your girl had been drinking, okay? But I'm on vacation, so I'm allowed to do that. So admittedly, I only captured a few moments of the drama. Our villa arrives at the lounge first because the other girls went to dinner somewhere and then they were gonna go to the lounge. We all were interested in trying the Nigerian food there. So we decided to just eat our dinner at the lounge. It had a restaurant and a lounge section. So we get there first, we have the food or whatever. And apparently, again, I'm not in the group chat, but the girl who had like organized it had like asked in the group chat at some point, oh, what's it like? Is it fun? Like, what's the vibes like? Whatever, wooty whoop. And nobody had like responded, right? Until they were like already on the way there. But in my experience, and y'all tell me if I'm crazy, the only time you ask, oh, what's it like at a party is if you're still debating if you want to go or not. And as the person who planned it, you going should be non-negotiable. Like, what do you mean? What's it like? You'll find out when you get here. But again, the girls genuinely didn't see it because we were enjoying ourselves. Like, not every day be on your phone. Some days just enjoy the moment. So nobody saw it until it was too late. And then later, I think we learned that she had been upset that nobody had responded to her message, which is just it's such a weird thing to be upset about, girl. We are living our lives. Like, what? Anyway, the other girls arrive at the club and I have this moment on camera and I'm not sure if I'm going to include it in the part 2 of this vlog, but like when they walk into the club, their energy, I mean, if you could see their faces, they're so standoffish. They look like they don't even want to be there. It's like weird. Like, I've watched that clip of them like walking into the club so many times and it's like juxtaposed. So I'm on the couch because admittedly I've had a lot to drink at this point. So I'm on the couch and I was like videotaping the other girls in the villa. They were up dancing on the dance floor and like when the girls walk in, they pass them and it's so standoffish. It's so like, I don't want to be here. And it's juxtaposed to the girls in my villa. They're having a great time. They're smiling. They're swaying to the music. It's just like, why even bother to come at this point? Especially the girl who organized it. It's like, spent all this time on this vacation talking about how you've organized all of the extracurricular activities better than the travel group, which is 100% false. 100% false. 100% false. I can't stress that enough, but whatever. You're talking about how great of a job you did organizing all of these events better than the travel group, but you organized them, but you didn't even have fun at any of them. Like, what's the point in that? That just seems like a waste of everybody's time. Okay, so now for this next part of the story, this is full disclosure because I don't believe in telling everybody business without telling my own. So like I said, at this point, I had been drinking. So when we were pre-gaming at the villa, the last drink I had before we left the villa, I remember drinking it and I was like, you don't need to drink this, you're drunk. You guys know when that alarm system that goes off in your head when you've had too much to drink, that's like, let this be the last one, Chevy. You say you get, let this be the last one. That alarm had already gone off in my head. And so by the time I got to the club though, it was too late. I was turned. I was gone.
I'm tore up already. Me and school.
This is a bit of a digression, but like I said, I can't tell everybody else's business without telling my own. It's a bit of a digression, but midway through, I don't even know what time it was. It could have been at the end. I truly don't know, but I'm on the couch and I get up and I'm like, okay, I gotta rally. Cause this is a girls trip. And I'm not gonna be the drunk girl on the girls trip. I'm like, I'm gonna throw up and get back on the dance floor. Like, let's turn it up for real. So I go to the bathroom. Clearly, I must have looked toe up. Okay, because one of the other girls in my villa follows me into the bathroom. It's one singular bathroom. Also, if you're squeamish, you just go to the description box and skip to after the story time, okay? Because this is gonna be real, this TMI. So she follows me into the bathroom and she's like, are you good? And I'm like, girl, I'm not good, but if I throw up, I'm gonna be fine. I like bend over the toilet, I try to throw up, I can't make myself throw up, and I look at her and I'm like, hey, you're gonna have to like punch me in the stomach or something. And she's like, girl, what? I said, yeah, like you gotta make me throw up. So she hits me in the stomach, but it's not hard. She doesn't want to hurt me, which is fair. And I'm like, all right, if you don't want to do this, then we're gonna have to do this the old fashioned way. You gotta stick your finger in my throat. Keep in mind, she's a nurse. I would have asked anybody to do this, but she's a nurse, which is probably why she was okay even trying to do it. So mind you, it's one of those bathrooms. If you're familiar with bathrooms in Asia, there's not always a sink in the toilet room, right? The sink is outside. So there's no sink in there. So all we have is like the bidet. That's the only source of clean water we have access to. So I'm like, you gotta wash your hands in the bidet. You gotta stick your finger down. Oh my gosh. We laughed about this moment so many times after that, but whatever. So I'm like, you gotta wash your hands in the bidet and then stick your finger down my throat. First, I need you guys to know this bidet had the most powerful stream of water I have ever experienced in my life. Like, there was water everywhere. I was too drunk to really remember the scene of the crime, but I have no doubt in my mind that we left water on that floor, and I feel horrible about that, but if there was nothing, it couldn't be helped. Anyway, she washes her hands. She starts trying to stick her finger down my throat. At first, she doesn't want to do it, so she's not getting back there. I'm like, you gotta do it. I'm like, you gotta do it, girl. So she finally gets her finger far enough back to activate my gag reflex. And I gag, but nothing comes up. I don't actually throw up, but as soon as I gag, I feel so much better. So then I go back outside and we go back and we enjoy the party, okay? This story is important because I don't remember the peripheral of that night, but I have no doubt in my mind everyone could tell that I was drunk. So that's why the story is important. Cool. The girls then leave after only being there for 45 minutes. I know this because that's what the girls were saying, like based off the timestamps and like everything else. The girls then leave. And so there's a couple different girls there and some of them have to close out their tab. Now me and one of the other girls in my villa, we're at the front where you pay bills at. And so we see them, they rush past us. They run by so fast. I'm like, are they skipping out on their tab? Like, why are they in such a rush to leave? It's only been 45 minutes, but whatever. They rush past us. The ringleader is like in the car that's about to take them back to the villa, and she screams back inside through the entranceway, hurry up, to the other girls. That moment really sobered me up because I turned to the girl I was talking to. I said, who is she talking to? It's no way she's talking to grown women like this. And it's no way these grown women are answering her. Very weird behavior. Very, 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 very weird behavior. So now we're at the last night, right? This is the night after, or maybe 2 nights after, but this is the last night in Bali. We go out to this very nice restaurant to eat, and there's 2 tables. Me and Dami are at one table, and then the rest of our group is at the other table. So it's like their table's here, our table's here. Me and Dami are on the edge of this table, and then our villa's like here. And then the weird girl, for some reason, sat next to our villa, took the spots that me and Dami were gonna sit into. Very weird why she wanted to be so close, but whatever. I want a brown. I want a dark brown. Dark brown. So I can't hear the conversations that they're having on that side of the table. Me and Dami are talking to the girls are on their table, and really it's just Dami that's talking because, child, I had something that had to have had dairy in it, and my stomach, I felt like I was fighting for my life, y'all. I don't know what I consumed that had some secret dairy in it, but I definitely regret that choice. Because it really stopped me from enjoying my last meal there. Then when we're in the car on the way back to the villa, they're like telling us what the weird girl said about us. She was like, so that night, nobody was really drinking. We were all doing mocktails because one, it's the last night. We've literally been on a 6-day bender. Okay. We've been drinking. Okay, we've been drinking. So everybody's like keeping it cute. We're doing mocktails, whatever. The weird girl, the she can't sit at my table girl, the Casamigos girl, the leave your own party, pajama party early girl, the weirdo at the club girl says, I'm not surprised that you guys aren't drinking tonight because y'all were shit-faced last night. I beg your pardon? Now, I took personal offense to this more than anything because I kind of felt called out. I felt like she was talking about what happened the night before. And it wasn't that I was ashamed because I'm on vacation. First of all, I'm a grown woman. I'm on vacation. I don't even drink. I don't even keep alcohol in my home. You're not finna make me feel bad about cutting loose in Bali. Okay? Not on a tropical girls trip. You're not finna make me feel bad about that. that. But it was just like, I feel like they were trying to convince me like, oh, she was talking about all of us. And I was like, I don't think so. I think she has proven that she has a history of trying to sneak diss me specifically for reasons I really do not understand, because when she see me in person, she always cop a please. She always want to keep it cute. When I'm not in earshot, she's talking about me. And I really did take it personally. And I was like, well, did she say who? She said all of us? Because that's not true. We haven't all been drinking this much. Like, so who was she talking about? And then we were already gone. So me and Dami, neither of us heard her when she said this. She was like, we should ask in the group chat, who was she talking about? But I'm like, and I wanted to so bad. And the only thing that stopped me truly was that we were not going to see each other anymore. Like, we still had one more day, but it was just in our villas. Like, it was from our villas to the airport. So we were never going to see them again. If this had happened, then there was going to be another opportunity for me to confront her in person. I would have asked in the group chat, hey, when you were talking about people being, you know, wasted, who was you talking about? I'm curious to know. Like, I still can't believe that she had the audacity to say something like that, just because it's just so judgy too. Like, let's say I had been that drunk the entire time, every single day, every activity, every excursion, I was that drunk. Baby, I'm on vacation. I spent thousands with an S of dollars on this vacation. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it. And if my definition of enjoyment is getting blackout drunk, I'm not getting behind the wheel. What is the big deal? Please don't piss me off. It was just so weird. And again, I could be being sensitive because I felt like she was talking about how I was at the club or the lounge the night before. But this is also somebody that has a history of talking crazy when I'm not around. And then when I be around, she be on mute. And here's my thing. I feel like I'm a very kind person. I feel like if you have a legitimate reason, you should never have an issue pressing me about anything, because one, anything I say or do, I'm going to stand behind. And two, I don't mind accepting when I'm wrong or when I've done something inappropriate or out of pocket. So if you really felt like I've done something to you, then just say that. This is how I know though it's not all in my head. 3 tour guides, one of them was a woman. The woman said on our last morning there, the woman said, I noticed at the pajama party that she was looking at y'all funny. The tour guide, the Balinese tour guide said that. She was like, yeah, I thought it was odd. Like, one of y'all said something, it was funny. And I laughed too. And then when I looked up, I saw she was looking at us, like mad at us for laughing. And I'm like, if she peeped it, then clearly it's not all in our heads. Like, the girls were being so weird. And that girl was the ringleader. Also, because I'm still upset and I want to get this off my chest, on the issue of her thinking we drink too much. Like I said, if we want to get blacked out drunk 7 days out of a 7-day trip, then that's our business, right? And maybe, let's just say, giving her the absolute benefit of the doubt, maybe she was really concerned about our alcohol intake. Maybe she was genuinely concerned if we had an issue with alcohol. Why would you wait until the day that we had all decided to have a sober day to then bring it up? Because clearly, if we all can take stock of ourselves and know that we need to not drink this day, we don't have an issue with alcohol. So why would you wait until that day to bring it up? Like, it's clearly not coming from a place of concern. It's coming from a place of judgment. Very weird. You guys know I don't like when the girls be weird.
You know, there's a lot of weird activities going on, and I don't like that. I don't like that.
Like, I take the girls being weird as a personal offense. Like, don't be weird to me, bro. And I will say this, I think that girl in particular has like a weird God complex that she needs to unpack. And I don't think that kind of personality is uncommon in the Nigerian community, especially the Nigerian American community. But I don't know, it was just, for me, it felt very out of place, because typically that kind of behavior is reserved for when there are multiple Nigerians around, not when you're in a group of other. And the reason why I'm saying I think she has a God complex is because multiple times she said she had planned the extracurricular activities better than how the planners planned the actual itinerary. And for one, that just was not true. Like I said, I had major qualms with them changing the times around and like changing locations around. But now with the benefit of hindsight, I understand why those changes were made. We had to go to a lot of those excursions earlier than originally planned to avoid, you know, bad weather or long lines. So I get it. I'm just very like, if you say I need to be up by 8:30, don't tell me the night before I need to be up by 7:30 type of thing. But honestly, I can genuinely say that was probably the best trip I've ever had, and I will travel with them again. So it's just like, girl, why do you think you did a better job than the people who planned for you to be here? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Oh, she had screws, they were loose, so the screws were just rolling around in that head of hers, Sha. And honestly, it was just all so weird. And I couldn't help but wonder to myself, would I have had a similar experience if I would have went on a group trip with 15 white women? Like, are white women experiencing such levels of weirdo behavior when on group trips like this? Is it a woman thing or is it a black woman thing? Like, that has really been on my mind. And I'm gonna be so honest with you guys. Apologies to whoever is offended, but that is a question I will never be able to answer, because I have seen enough news stories, enough news articles to know that when a black woman, a singular black woman, goes on a trip with a large amount of white people, she is almost guaranteed to never make it home again. Okay? I don't want no parts. I don't want no parts, okay? So look, if they doing something different with the group trips, more power to it, but I'm never gonna find out. Give me the black women every time. Give me the black woman every time. But in any instance, I can't help but wonder, why go on a group trip with a bunch of strangers if you know that you don't have the personality to tolerate, interact, and engage with a bunch of strangers? Like, why not go on a solo trip? Why not only go out of town with your friends that you have and that you know? Like, and she didn't come with anybody else. Like I said, there were 3 groups of people who knew each other prior to this trip. Me and Dami, the 4 other girls in our villa, and then the 3 older women. We were the only people that came with people that we knew, right? And me and the girls in our villa, we both said, like, the reason why we came was because we didn't feel like planning the next trip. We wanted someone else to do the planning. But also, Dami and I know that no matter what, we were going to have a good time. And we also are very personable people. So it didn't even stress us like, oh, are we going to have a good time with other strangers? Like, we knew we were going to have a good time. Why even subject yourself to something like that if you don't know that? You know what I mean? And I asked this on the trip. Something the girls were saying, which is probably true, she probably doesn't have any friends. Like, if this is how she behaves, she probably doesn't have any friends that she can, like, go on a trip with. Yeah, the more I think about it, especially in hindsight, that's probably true. And it's so unfortunate because, like, again, Nigerian American, it's a very niche group, right? And we tend to gravitate towards one another. If you watch the part 1 of the vlog, me and Dami did our excursion. There was one other Nigerian girl there, Toyin, and we had a good time. We were making inside Yoruba people jokes, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Like, yeah, like, Toyin came alone, but she was a good vibe. She was able to talk. Toyin was also one of the, her and one other person, I think, were the only people that didn't leave the villa until we left the villa that night at the pajama party. Like, because she has a personality where you can hang out with people. Like, she lives in Maryland, so, like, her and Dami are gonna be friends now. But it's just like, why go on a trip with a bunch of strangers if you know that you don't know how to get along with different personalities? I don't understand it. Also, if you guys think I'm crazy, let me know. Like, am I overreacting? Oh, hold on. Come on now. I need to get my clean clip out the bathroom so I can put my hair accordingly. Feeling fancy today using my Lancome foundation. I be trying to ration this out here, but have you guys ever been on a group trip with people you didn't know? Did you have a similar experience? Like, I'm genuinely so curious to figure out, is this a me thing? Is this something that just always happens when you get a bunch of women together, when you get a bunch of black women together? Like, I'm so curious to know everybody else's experience in situations like this. Or maybe nobody's ever experienced something like this. That wouldn't shock me to know either. Also, I was telling this story to somebody out here and they were like, oh, well, you know, what if they were essentially like, maybe it's just a group trip thing, like men or women. Do men even take group trips? Please. Why would I even be concerned about what men got going on? Please don't piss me off. Anyway, we're trying a new setting spray. I tried this 2 days ago, but I think I messed up in the application. Not in the application of this, but in my foundation application. So I don't trust those results. Starting over again. I'm gonna spritz this in so that I can blend out my foundation. Just letting it oxidize a bit more. This is such a digression, but does anybody else use Tier foundation or any Tier products? I randomly was in Don Quixote earlier this year, against my will, of course, and I saw that they had the cushion foundations in the extended shade range, and I almost wanted to try it, but you know, I don't know how to return anything at the stores in Japan, and I was like, you know what, I'm not finna not like this product and be stuck with it, because it was like 2,000 yen. I said, yeah, nah, that's too much money for a product. I don't know if it's gonna shade me right, if it's gonna, you know what I'm saying, perform. I don't got that kind of faith in this. But have y'all used the products? What are your thoughts? Let a girl know. Let a girl know. Anywho, this is the final look. I don't think I've come on here with just like a bust down. This is my final form, guys. Full makeup, jet black bust down. This is a 1B bust down. I need to dye it jet black, but full makeup and a 1B bust down. This is the kind of baddie I feel like I want to give every single day, but the work that goes into it is just too much for me. It's too much for me. If you're curious about the hair, I already have a video up on TikTok. Anywho, please, if you have not already, let me know in the comments, am I tripping or were these girls weird? More than that, do you guys have similar experiences when it comes to traveling with large groups of women, or even just being around large groups of women, particularly women that you do not know? Let's keep it cute in the comments though. Let's not make weird overgeneralizations. Let's keep it cute. Let's keep it within context, okay? Because I still keep women, and Black women especially, on the pedestal. Regardless of everything I've ranted about, I still keep Black women on a pedestal. So not too much. I would like us to have like an honest conversation because I'm really curious at this point. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye. Mwah.